So, hello and welcome to this special show. And we will be discussing a lot about the men's T20I series, which is currently going on, and more specifically on Sanju Samson and what is happening behind the scenes. He was not picked in the playing 11, whether it's team management's call, whether it's the selection committee, which is now starting to interfere in the matters of the playing 11. He was also not picked in the Zimbabwe tour. So a lot going around Sanju Samson. We saw the chants of "We want Sanju" outside the Trent Bridge following India's 125 run defeat, which is India's highest ever in terms of losing margin in this format. So there's a lot of talks around Sanju Samson, but the real question is whether the selection committee and the team management is on the same page. Gautam Gambhir in the post-match press conference came in and said, whatever clarity I wanted to give to Sanju Samson, I have given it to him. That's a talk that will remain between a head coach and a player. But the question is, are the selection committee on the same page as the head coach of the Indian team? Shamikta, what are the inputs that you have regarding this story and what is happening regarding Sanju Samson?
Shubhan, to start with, as regards Sanju Samson and his omission for the tour of Zimbabwe 3 T20Is, the inputs I have is that it's a call that has been taken by the selection committee. Blaming Gautam Gambhir for this would be wrong because if Gautam Gambhir, I mean, I will not say Gautam Gambhir sort of put his foot down and said if we will have to, but at the end of the day, it was a decision taken by the selection committee, sort of uh, overruling the head coach. Basically, Gautam Gambhir, Gautam Gambhir is a strong backer of Sanju Samson throughout over the last 2 years. Throughout, yesterday he came at the press conference and sort of defended the Sanju's omission from the playing 11, saying that sometimes you have to look in at the form. And as you said, it's a conversation that will be kept between us, not for the outside world. All said and done, what I know is that once again there was basically the selectors also wanted Sanju give Vaibhav Suryavanshi, a run during this England series, and uh, as regards his omission, Sanju Samson's omission for the Zimbabwe tour, they could have they could have easily rested. They could have easily rested Abhishek Sharma. He is in good form. He is one
Yes.
player who has been in good form, and he is one of the players who is an automatic pick. So sitting out of a series, I mean, sort of low key series like Zimbabwe wouldn't have jeopardized his position. But Vaibhav Suryavanshi, with the emergence of Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Sanju Samson seemingly has fallen down the pecking order, and
Very
it
true.
is the selectors want to give Vaibhav Suryavanshi a long run. They are talking about giving Sanju Samson a long run, the player who won you the T20 World Cup, who returned as the player of the tournament. 3 failures later, he was not part of the. He's not part of the playing 11, and
Mm.
then he has been left out from the squad itself. Yes, he's he's still very much in the scheme of things as far as T20 is concerned because he is part of the squad that will go to the Asian Games in September, October. But the fact of the matter, at this moment in time, it is sort of pretty evident that from the selectors, there is a shot of push to promote Vaibhav Suryavanshi. And Sanju
Absolutely. And
Samson and Sanju
yeah.
Samson is apparently the fall guy.
And that is what is surprising. Yes, if you talk about inconsistency, Sanju has been inconsistent throughout his career, and that is a fact. That is a fact. But at the same time, is the parameter same for all other players? There are many players in the team who have not performed in this format for a very long time, but are still part of the playing 11. Washington Sundar was the one who was sacrificed from the playing 11, but at the same time, this same selection committee, Shamikda, appointed Tilak Verma as the vice captain of the team, and his last notable performance came back in Asia Cup final, which of course was a very good chase by Tilak Verma. But after that, you can count his impactful knocks on your fingers. So the question I am asking is the parameter same for every player. If the selection committee is being ruthless, then good. They are being ruthless in making bold decisions for the benefit of the Indian cricket. But at the same time, are they keeping the parameters same for every player? If you say no, we are planning for 2028, we want to look ahead and prepare accordingly. Sanju Samson is only 31. He will be 33 by the time 28 Olympics and the T20 World Cup comes. 33 is a nothing age in cricket. So this age factor thing also doesn't come into the picture. So what really is the issue within the selection committee is the real question. Was did anyone take offense when Sanju Samson's name was suggested as one of the captains for the Indian team, or is this something uh, which is suddenly happening out of nowhere?
Uh, Good that Shubhan, good that you mentioned that if someone has taken offense, I can
Hmm.
go back to a meeting in Ahmedabad. I will not reveal the name of the individuals involved in that meeting.
Yeah.
But there was a meeting in Ahmedabad during the IPL. Actually, once the selection committee decided that they will move on from uh, Surya Kumar Yadav and they will
Hmm.
appoint a new T20I captain. First, there was a meeting during a Delhi Capitals game at Firoz Shah. Once again, I will not reveal the names who are involved in that meeting. And then next day, a couple of individuals flew out to Ahmedabad, and then there was another meeting. And after that meeting, one of the individuals left, and
Hmm.
then there was a conversation between two of them. And in that conversation, someone from the team management floated the idea that Sanju Samson has leadership potential. And then there was and, and this is according to my sources. Obviously, a
Hmm.
reporter will not reveal his source. Now, then there was a phone call. There was a phone call came, and sort of Shreyas Iyer was appointed the captain. Shreyas Iyer was appointed the captain. You have to take into account of the fact that Shreyas did the selection committee decided to stick to the World Cup winning core, but brought on someone who was not even part of that World Cup scheme of things. He didn't play a T20I over the last 3 years. So an outsider in that sense, sort of an outsider has been brought in to helm the side. Now that was done. That was done after that meeting. What we cannot, as because we are going by our sources, and obviously we will have to be a little guarded, and obviously we will not reveal all the details, and it will not be proper. But when you ask this question and when you raise this question, if someone took the offense, whatever it is, I think there is a hint that maybe at this moment in time the selection committee is very powerful. The selection committee, some selectors of the selection committee
Hmm.
as a whole, is very powerful. And the assumption that Gautam Gambhir is India's all-powerful head coach, maybe this is not true. Maybe the power center is shifting a bit.
Now the question is whether you want to touch a white ball coach who has given you Champions Trophy, Asia Cup, and T20 World Cup back to back without. I think they lost only one or two matches in this entire in these three tournaments. So whether you want to touch a head coach who is exceedingly doing well in white ball formats, yes, Test is a different ball game altogether, and the calls which the selection committee has made, whether recently also in regards to transition, they have worked. Some have not worked. Some have worked. So that's a team which is working, which is a work in progress. But at the same time, in white ball sector, the Indian team is doing exceedingly well, especially in multi-nation tournaments and bilaterals also under Surya Kumar Yadav, Gautam Gambhir. That pair clicked and did not lose a single white ball series, bilateral series. But the question is, do you want to, try and mend things which are not broken? In white ball sector, what I feel is Gautam Gambhir has always done well whenever he has been given the absolute power, whether in KKR as a captain or as a mentor, whether in Lucknow Super Giants to back playoff finishes. But whenever he has been poked, whenever he has been touched, his teams have been touched. His powers, as Shomik also mentioned, the power shifting. thing happening in Indian cricket. I think that is where the concern lies for me. Things may click, things may not click, but this is a sector which can be very volatile in Indian cricket, Shamikta. Uh, Even in the past, whenever we have seen earlier, captain used to have absolute power. Whenever we have seen, a coach trying to come in and take that power shift, or a BCCI president, or a select member of selection committee, things have not ended very well on a very fruitful note. So if I have to ask you about your gut instinct, are you getting a good vibe around this, or do you think this can mess up things in Indian cricket, at least for now?
Shubhan, sometimes negative vibes can creep in pretty fast. And if you look at the history of Indian cricket, I mean, once, as soon as someone, the powers that be, and it is not about the BCCI under the current dispensation. If you go back to the early 1980s, there was a time when Sunil Gavaskar was all powerful, and that ruffled some feathers. So they are waiting for Sunil Gavaskar to fail. 1982-83 series in Pakistan, and India were hammered. I am not going to the use of bottle caps and all that, and Sarfaraz Nawaz bowling from 18 yards, and Khizar
Mm.
Hayat and Shakur Rana, the two umpires. I'm not going into that. But as soon as India lost that series to Pakistan, Kapil Dev was made captain. Sunil Gavaskar was stripped of captaincy, and Kapil Dev was made captain. And by Kapil's admission, he was just 22 or 23 years old by then, and he said, "I was not ready." Then India went on and won the 1983 World Cup. Kapil Dev became larger than life. What happened? West Indies came. West Indies hammered England. West Indies hammered India. And you got to take into account of the fact that it is Clive Lloyd's West Indies who are hammering everyone. Who are hammering everyone. And promptly Kapil Dev's captaincy was taken off, and Sunil Gavaskar was once again made the captain. 1985, after winning the Benson Hedges World Series, Sunil Gavaskar, he was so pissed off, he said, "I will not captain Indian cricket. I will not captain India again." Once again, Kapil Dev was captain. And it has happened with Saurabh. When people felt Saurabh was getting larger than life, then people aligned to ensure that that power is stripped off. It happened with Greg Chappell. It happened even last. It happened with Virat Kohli. The way he, the
Or
way
even
he
Rohit
had
Sharma,
to,
for that matter.
even Rohit Sharma, and the way he had to, Virat had to quit India. The way he quit India captaincy, and the way Rohit Sharma, after winning the Champions Trophy and to the final, he was the man of the match. His captaincy was stripped off. So
Had it
this
not
has
been for Srinivas and even MS Dhoni in 2013 would have been.
exactly
Yeah.
Exactly, because at the selection meeting, it was all but decided that uh, Virat Kohli is the new captain. And only after Mr. Srinivasan intervened, and as per the BCCI constitution, you cannot put out the team sheet without the signature of the board president. So that saved MS Dhoni. So this has been a trend set as far as Indian cricket is concerned. Here, no, nobody will be given that leeway to be all powerful. This has been, and this is once again not. This is not down to the BCCI under the current dispensation. This has been happening since 1932 when India played their first ever Test match.
Absolutely. Now let's see whether this ends in a good note or not for Indian cricket. But clearly, the power is shifting within the Indian cricket ecosystem, and maybe we might see some volatile times coming up in future when it comes to Indian cricket and the transition that we are seeing in Indian cricket right now. It's clearly a selectors versus the team management
And
in
Shubhan, I'm
focus.
just interrupting you.
Yeah.
And in Indian cricket, usually it happens very fast. If you
Yeah.
go back to
Yeah.
2003, 2004, 2003 World Cup, India played the final. Went to Pakistan after that. For the first time, India won a test series in Pakistan. And then suddenly, the next series was in Zimbabwe. And suddenly, all hell broke loose. And VVS Lakshman told us that there have been some negative vibes, and I know I attended that interaction. It was not a formal press conference. It was an
Mhm.
interaction with VVS Lakshman, and VVS said that there have been some negative vibes of late in that dressing room. So in Indian cricket, it can happen. India won the 2011 World Cup, 2011 World Cup, and then inside the next 12 months, they suffered a 4-0 whitewash in England and Australia.
That is something which we'll have to see in regards to Indian cricket. Whether it's fine to try and mend things which are not broken in T20 cricket, a world champion side. Whether you want to disrupt the planning of head coach, who is exceedingly doing well in these two particular formats, at least in white ball cricket. A lot of things coming up regards to Indian cricket, and it's an interesting time to follow Indian cricket. Now let's go to our reporter in England, Rohit, and see what his opinion is regarding this entire episode around Sanju Samson, and what he feels about Gautam Gambhir's press conference, where he clearly said that whatever I have clarified to Sanju Samson, that is a talk between a head coach and a player. Let's hear from Rohit, and thank you so much, Shamikda, for joining. Hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Revsportz for more. And here is Rohit Juglan from UK.
So it's almost a week now since we are, covering this whole thing around Sanju Samson. Obviously, one of the selectors is here at this point of time in England, and after that, it was Gautam Gambhir and it was Sanju Samson. So there are multiple characters, when you talk about this particular story, and then we, directly jump to the press conference that Gautam had last evening, and I asked this particular question around Sanju Samson and was very, he was very particular about that, what kind of conversations he had around Sanju Samson. So let's start from the Manchester thing, that how it all started from Manchester, and then from Manchester to that animated conversation where Gambhir, it was looking like that Gambhir still wants to hold Sanju Samson for a conversation, and Sanju is leaving, from in between the conversation. That what's the visual actually looked like. Uh, so there was a conversation there. It was very clear at that point of time that there is a possibility that Sanju, it's been communicated to Sanju Samson. It was pretty similar to what had happened in Lucknow, and after that, in Ahmedabad just before the T20 World Cup, when Shubman was communicated that, maybe the team management. When the team management communicated to him that the selectors were thinking like this, that they want to drop you. So a similar kind of body language when you talk about a Sanju Samson here in Manchester, and it started all from there. Then there was a conversation between Vaibhav Suryavanshi and Sanju Samson. uh, they did their batting. Sanju did his batting rather, and Weber was about to go to his batting. And obviously, the next day we saw that the debut cap was given to Weber Suryavanshi. And after that, it was very clear that now there will be at least a couple of chances for Weber Suryavanshi. So similar thing have happened when we came in Nottingham also. So Nottingham, they had only one practice session, and you know Sanju Samson was not the part of that practice session. One of his friend was here. I don't want to name the friend. He's obviously a cricketer, the cricketer friend, and Sanju from the team hotel went along with him, and he was not looking very happy. Still, with Sanju not feeling happy, Sanju not feeling, I don't know, I can use the word comfortable or not, but he's not feeling happy. Still, when it comes down to signing autographs for the fan, giving them pictures, he was always there. He has done it today also when I'm recording this video. And around this came the moment when, yes, it was the game day. India lost the game. It's now 2-0. Now they can only equalize the series. They can't win it from here onwards. And then this thing came up, that the press conference. It was very clear that Gautam Gambhir will do the press conference. And I have, from the very first thing which I had in my mind, is that I need to ask this question from Gautam Gambhir. I'm sorry if you are getting this audio song, because there's some music going on at this point of time. So the thing is that at this point of time, what Sanju Samson did, why he was out of the team, after that disturbance also. So that was really, just a second, huh? Yeah. So the thing is that at this point of time, my only question to Gautam Gambhir was that can we have this at this point of time? Can we have a clarity on Sanju Samson? Can you clear things up as far as Sanju's exclusion is concerned? And he was very clear that I had my conversations. So remember, the main word was there, I. So he had his conversations with Sanju Samson. He don't want to tell each and everything around that conversation to the media or to the, to the fans also. But he said that it's only about the form thing. If you have going through a phase where we are thinking that form wise you are not right at this point of time, we'll obviously try what's best for the team. And if team management think that yes, Suryavanshi is the right guy at this point of time, they'll give chance to Suryavanshi. But this doesn't mean that Sanju is out of completely out of the scheme as far as the selection is concerned or as far as the squad is also concerned. So if you're saying to me that, oh, he's not in the Zimbabwe squad, that doesn't mean that he's completely out of scheme as far as Team India is concerned. So overall, yes, it's not something which gives you confidence after getting dropped. Just after 3 innings, and 3 innings ago you were the man of the tournament for the World Cup. I know that this is not right, but yeah, the word from Gautam Gambhir is giving you optimism, and let's wait for things, to go by as far as this particular series is concerned and the Zimbabwe thing is concerned. He's in the Asian Games squad, and I'm very sure that he will be there in the upcoming squads also.